Good morning Year 2 and welcome to the next story session. So I've decided to have a little change this week, so I've set Pippi Longstocking aside for a little while, but we can go back to that later if some of you would like to find out what happened to her. And we're going to start a new story today, and it's a story about a fox, and it's called Fantastic Mr. Fox. Some of you might have heard this story before. It's written by a man called Roald Dahl, and he's a very famous author, and he wrote lots and lots of lovely stories for children. And this one's just right for Year 2, so we're going to have a go at it. So, Fantastic Mr. Fox by Roald Dahl. Chapter 1 is called The 3 Farmers. Down in the valley there were 3 farms, and the owners of these farms had done well. They were all rich men, but they were also nasty men. All 3 of them were about as nasty and mean as any of you could ever meet. Their names were Farmer Boggis, Farmer Bunce, and Farmer Bean. This book is illustrated by somebody called Quentin Blake, and he does little sketchy drawings. Boggis was a chicken farmer. He kept thousands of chickens, and he was enormously fat. And this was because he ate 3 boiled chickens smothered with dumplings every day for breakfast, lunch and supper. Bunce was a duck and goose farmer. He kept thousands of ducks and geese. He was a kind of pot-bellied dwarf. He was so short his chin would have been underwater in the shallow end of any swimming pool in the world. His food was doughnuts and goose livers. He mashed the livers into a disgusting paste and then stuffed the paste into the doughnuts. This diet gave him a tummy ache and a beastly temper. So you can see the farmer who eats the chickens there, and then this is the one who stuffs the doughnuts. Bean was a turkey and apple farmer. He kept thousands of turkeys in an orchard full of apple trees. He never ate any food at all. Instead, he drank gallons of strong cider which he made from the apples in his orchard. He was as thin as a pencil, and the cleverest of them all. Boggis and Bunce and Bean, one fat, one short, one lean, those horrible crooks, so different in looks, were nonetheless equally mean. This is what the children round about used to sing when they saw them. You can see the very thin farmer there. And chapter 2 is called Mr. Fox. On a hill above the valley there was a wood, and in the wood there was a huge tree, and under the tree there was a hole, and in the hole lived Mr. Fox and Mrs. Fox and their 4 small foxes. Every evening as soon as it got dark, Mr. Fox would say to Mrs. Fox, "Well, my darling, what shall it be this time? A plump chicken from Boggis, a duck or a goose from Bunce, or a nice turkey from Bean?" And when Mrs. Fox had told him what she wanted, Mr. Fox would creep down into the valley in the darkness of the night and help himself. You can just see Mr. Fox here. Boggis and Bunce and Bean knew very well what was going on, and it made them wild with rage. They were not men who liked to give anything away, and less still did they like anything to be stolen from them. So every night each of them would take his shotgun and hide in a dark place somewhere on the farm, hoping to catch the robber. But Mr. Fox was too clever for them. He always approached a farm with the wind blowing in his face. This meant that if any man were lurking in the shadows ahead, the wind would carry the smell of that man to Mr. Fox's nose from far away. Thus, if Mr. Boggis was hiding behind his chicken house number 1, Mr. Fox would smell him out from 50 yards off and quickly change direction and head for chicken house number 4 at the other end of the farm. "Dang and blast the lousy beast!" cried Boggis. "I'd like to rip his guts out," said Bunce. "He must be killed," cried Bean. "But how?" said Boggis. "How on earth can we catch the blighter?" Bean picked his nose with a long finger. "I have a plan," he said. "You've never had a decent plan yet," said Bunce. "Shut up and listen," said Bean. "Tomorrow night we will all hide just outside the hole where the fox lives. We will wait until he comes out, and then bang, 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 bang." "Very clever," said Bunce. "But first we shall have to find the hole." "My dear Bunce, I've already found it," said the crafty Bean. "It's up in the wood on the hill. and it's under a huge hill. We can see the farmers with their guns making a plan. So that's 5 minutes gone, so I'm going to stop there. The next chapter is called Chapter 3, The Shooting. I hope they don't shoot the fox. We'll have to find out next time. Bye-bye.